you posted something on Facebook. I think it got to be like 5-6 years ago. And it's I'll read it real quick, but it's Perfectionism Kills. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
I think about this a lot.
Good.
And it's basically just perfectionism kills. It kills dreams. It kills adventures. It kills the joyful participation in life. Hell, it kills all participation in life. Life is a call and response game. Living life is participating in the call and response. Body hungers, you eat. Child cries, you soothe. A city gets hit by a hurricane, you help. You have a vision of a scene between a father and son, and you write a play. But with perfectionism, we set out to interrupt the natural call and response cycle. We refuse the call, we fear the call, we ignore the call. Our perfectionism says I can't respond because I'll get my hands dirty, I'll take too much time, people will think I'm crazy or ugly or stupid or not good enough. Not good enough. I think about that constantly, and I love that you basically, it was like, I had saved that for so long, and it really, I wish it was like a message that, is that in one of your books, or is that in a book, or
no,
you just posted it?
I wrote an essay about it. Had a podcast that I did very often. Mm-hmm. I'm about to rebrand it and move on from it, but it's called Waking from the American Dream. Mm-hmm. All my shows are up there. And one year, I think it was year 3 or 4 of the podcast, I needed to challenge myself, and I decided I needed to write a little essay for each episode, a little 150 to 250 word essay. And so I wrote one called Perfectionism Kills, and it's a little piece from that essay.
Wow. Oh, I mean, I'm going to have to find the whole essay, because I like that. It was something that I couldn't at the time. I think I felt, and obviously agreed with when you posted it. I stole it and saved it forever. But it crystallizes that feeling so fucking well, and then kindly explains it away and reasons why you should not listen to it. And it's so bizarre. My friend is going through some shit right now and just hesitant about her own creativity and path or whatever. And I quoted that. I was like, I'm gonna say something to you, and you're gonna want to hold on to it, and it blew her fucking mind.
Awesome.
So you did that specifically for that episode? Was that something that you've been thinking? Because I would love to know, like, how in your own path you came to that conclusion yourself.
Yeah, I had spent decades not being a creative because of my perfectionism. My standard was, if 10,000 people aren't stomping their feet and chanting my name, I have not succeeded. That'll fuck you up.
Yep, absolutely. Oh my God.
So I had this weird extra fear around living up to that standard in my head, and believing that that's the standard I had to live up to out in the world, because everyone was going to be whispering behind their back, you know who that is. And so it fucks you up if you let that be the thing that rules you. Yeah. And so as I started performing more and was doing my solo show that Paul Provenza directed with me and helped me develop and create, I had to learn to fail in public. I had to learn to fail on stage, just like stand-ups do every night.
Yeah.
And I'd never let myself fail. I was a kid who was rescued by my parents all the time. And then I just did things that came really easily to me so that I never would fail. But the things I really longed to do, like get on a stage and speak my truth and tell my stories, I didn't quite know how to do that. And I didn't understand the creative process was about, successful failings. I mean, that's really what it's all about. And I never, as incredible as my dad was, he and I never sat down and had these conversations. I just saw him as a man who just was successful and never failed. Whereas he, as an artist, knew he was failing all the time. He was always not hitting his own personal bar. Right. And so, but we never talked about that. We never talked about any of that stuff. It was too scary for me to talk to him about that, because then I was showing my vulnerability to the God, right? Like, this is, it was really complicated for me. So I just had to find my way through it. And the more I learned that the audience is on your side and they're rooting for you, and that you survive it and you learn and it's no big deal, that I learned that is a dance, that it really is an invitation. And the only way we're ever going to get out of our own way is to leap before we look. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
So, and that's one of those moments we were talking about earlier where the creative thing, like I have an idea, like the line "Perfectionism Kills" came to me, and I sat down and that shit just started pouring out of me. And those essays I did for my podcast at that time, I would just come up with an idea, and a little bit of a haunting thing would first couple of lines or something like that. But then I would sit down and boom, it would just come out of me. And wow. I'm very lucky that way, that I get to write that way sometimes. Sometimes my first draft is my best draft. I clean it up, but yeah, I just get out of my way is what I do.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Dystopia tonight.